Good morning, everyone. It is 12 minutes past 8 o'clock right now. Welcome back to CW Iowa Live. Lou and Jackie here with a couple of very special guests joining us in studio right now. We have Maddie Carter, who is a bereavement counselor with HCI Hospice Care Services, next to Jackie. And also, we have Teskey Vance, program coordinator with Amanda the Panda with us right now. And we were just talking a couple of minutes ago. This time of year is really important to make sure you really have yourself grounded, especially when people have some things to think about.
Yeah, we want to make sure everyone's in the right state of mind, and we're going to give you some very important tips this morning as well, so make sure you stay right here to CW Iowa Live. But we also want to say that we're downright proud to salute a couple of great local organizations this morning along with Stivers Ford Lincoln. So thank you, ladies, for being here. So let's talk about the holidays and what that can mean to people this time of year. A lot of times we're thinking of the spirit of giving and family and friends, but it can be different for others.
Absolutely. I mean, holidays are a time when families come together, and when a loved one has died, the absence of that person is magnified. And so it's important that we recognize that sometimes the holidays are a hard time for people who are grieving.
Yeah, and sometimes the hardest time of the entire year.
Absolutely. I mean, we're faced to consider, okay, what traditions are we going to keep the same this year? What are we going to do differently? There's going to be an empty chair around the table. So what does that look like for our family?
And you wanted to talk about a program with Amanda the Panda called the Cheer Box. What is that all about?
Yeah, Cheer Box is a holiday support program that we do where we have actually just finished delivering 159 boxes of gifts to families who are grieving throughout the metro area and surrounding areas. And it's meant to, each gift is meant to promote family togetherness, comfort, memorializing their loved one.
Because sometimes it's just nice to know that people are there for you and are thinking about you during this time.
Yes.
All right, so we have some very important tips that we want to make sure everybody knows so that they can get through the holidays. Let's go through those tips.
Okay, well, one tip I would suggest is just to make sure that you plan ahead. It is really difficult to think about the future when you're grieving because you know that person's not going to be there with you anymore. But just to know that, like Teskey said, it's okay to keep the same traditions. It's okay to change things. I would also suggest that when you plan to go to someone's house, have a safe person that you can talk to, maybe pull aside, or have just a spot you can get some alone time to think about your grief and kind of process through things.
Because sometimes you're like, oh, I'm okay, but then something might trigger a memory, or and you just need to have that safe place to go.
But it is a process, and people have to remember that. It's a multi-stage process to go through grief.
Right. We use the books called Understanding Your Grief by Dr. Alan Wolfelt in our close support groups at HCI Hospice Care Services, and he says that grief is not it's not a place to stay, it's a place to go through and walk through, and that will always be part of your life.
All right, so we want to make sure we have a plan in place, but we also want to make sure we're not avoiding what's actually happened.
Absolutely. I think for a lot of families, it's kind of like the elephant in the room.
Right.
Nobody wants to say the person's name. Nobody wants to bring it up because it'll make mom cry or it'll, make people worry. But really, that's what we need to do. And so one of our tips is to think of ways to memorialize that loved one. Maybe it's having a candle lit throughout the holiday season, a single, electronic candle in your window, or lighting a candle together during your family meal. But say that person's name, talk about the funny stories, share the memories.
And I think that's as important as anything else because the person obviously will exist in your memories, and you have to remember that.
Right, and that's one of the key ways that we can cope with our grief. And when we are able to recall the memories and to share the stories, that's a way that we cope with our grief.
And it's okay to cry.
Absolutely. It's okay to cry, and it's okay not to cry.
Okay.
But I like that idea. Instead of avoiding traditions, why not make new ones in memory of that person? All right, and during family time or friends, we also want to make sure we're involving children.
Right, that's very true. Children notice that person's gone just as much as the adults do. And actually, children think about death a lot more literally than adults, so it's okay to say the word died to children. And it's okay to include them in those traditions and ask them to share memories that they have with their special person, and you'd be really surprised, I think, by what they would say.
Now, is there any certain age that you've noticed a change in the way people are thinking when it comes to children, when it comes to death in the family, or not?
I would say probably adolescence, but younger children I would say primary age, they still understand what's going on, and even to preschool age, it's appropriate to talk about that with them because that's part of their life too.
Do you think they're able to comprehend it at that age?
If you explain it very literally and use developmentally appropriate suggestions and tips, then yeah, they can understand.
Yeah, and one of the things we mentioned, you want to remember the people that we lost, and one of the ways to remember people that we lost is by honoring them.
And the children can be very involved in that. Sometimes it might be an activity. You know, a lot of families, they might make ornaments in memory of their loved ones, and so children love to be a part of that.
Well, that's a good idea. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we could pass that along and bring it back every year then too.
Absolutely.
But at this time, do you think the most important thing is just to be ever mindful of the situation that's at hand during the holiday season?
I do. I think that's important, and to acknowledge that, yes, the first holidays are difficult, but every holiday is difficult. Maybe someone's spouse died 5 years ago. Well, those memories are still there, and it's still difficult. And a holiday that we really underestimate the power of is the New Year, because everybody is thinking about the resolutions and you know, hope and newness, and you're kind of still stuck in your grief. So be aware of that.
Keep that in mind even as we make our way through the holiday season and Christmas. All right, if people are hearing this, they're like, you know what, that I do need to make a plan. I do need to get things in place. Is there a place they can go for guidance and something like this?
Sure. They can reach out to us at Amanda the Panda. Just go to our website, amandathepanda.org. And also, we have a winter support group coming up. It's going to have a wellness theme. It'll start at the end of January. They can get that information by contacting our agency, going to the website, or giving us a call.
And Maddie, your website too. People want to get more information about your great organization.
Yes, HCI Care Services, .org. And as Teskey said, we also have a support group coming up on January 30th. That is our closed group that goes over the book Understanding Your Grief. So if they want information about that, they can go ahead and go to the website and find someone to contact.
Now, you mentioned understanding your grief and things like that. Maybe someone hasn't processed the grief with an event that may have happened even quite some time ago. Are they invited to come and visit you as well?
Of course. We're open to the community as well as HCI families. So.
Okay, wonderful.
Most importantly, know that there's people out there to help you during this time, and hopefully you're able to take these tips and have a wonderful holiday season, even if you are dealing with some grief at this time. Thank you, ladies, so much. Downright proud to salute a couple of great organizations. Please take advantage of their services if you need to.
We'll be right back. It's 19 minutes past 8 o'clock. This is CW Iowa Live in West Des Moines.